Can you believe it? 43 years ago, I started doing equal opportunity social justice work. 43 years ago. Back then I was a naive black boy from the bayous of Louisiana, serving in the United States Navy. Back then I was trained to facilitate interracial dialogue sessions for Navy personnel for sailors. Why? At that time, the United States Navy was working to right itself. The Navy was working through some dark and difficult days. Imagine this. Race riots aboard ships carrying weapons of mass destruction. I don't have to imagine January 1973 on board the USS Intrepid, carrying 5,000 men, of which I was one. While at sea in the Mediterranean, we had 3 days of on again, off again race rioting. 3 days of black sailors attacking white sailors attacking black sailors on board a ship of war. Weapons of mass destruction all around. This was no isolated event in the Navy. From 1970 to 1975 in the United States Navy, ashore and at sea, there were 350 documented major racial incidents. Racial unrest was putting at risk the Navy's ability to accomplish its mission to protect the interests of this nation. Racial unrest caused by inadequate equal opportunity policies. Racial unrest caused by leftover Jim Crow prejudice and bigotry that meant that too many white sailors felt free to refer to black sailors using racial slurs. Racial unrest caused by poor, inadequate equal opportunity policies that left that prejudice and bigotry unrestrained. But under the leadership of Admiral Elmo Zumwalt, the Navy was correcting itself, righting the ship, turning and guiding the ship of the Navy out of the dark and stormy, difficult waters of interracial disrespect. Policies were rewritten. New policies were written, established, and enforced. Yet, Admiral Zumwalt was advised that that was not enough. Heeding that advice, Zumwalt spoke loud and clear to the whole fleet through one of his Z-grams, a memorandum that all Navy personnel were required to read, about the changes he was enacting. In his most famous Z-gram, Admiral Zumwalt said to all of the Navy's personnel, "We are counting on your support to help seek out and eliminate those demeaning areas of discrimination that plague our minority shipmates. Ours must be a Navy, ours must be a Navy that recognizes no artificial barriers of race, color, or religion. There is no black Navy, no white Navy, just one Navy, the United States Navy." Following through on Zumwalt's vision for that one Navy, his staff came to the idea that there was a need for more than policy change. There was a need for some interpersonal work. Sailors needed to be in race-related conversations with each other. Black and white sailors needed to listen and learn from each other, to get inside each other's stories. White and black sailors needed an opportunity to get inside each other's frame of reference, to change the atmosphere of the everyday work environment, to change the atmosphere of their social interactions with each other. To facilitate those conversations, the Navy selected and trained plain old everyday sailors. No special ranks, just everyday, ordinary Navy personnel. I was one of those plain old everyday, ordinary sailors chosen and trained to conduct interracial dialogues for 25 to 35 members of the Navy at a time. I was trained and did conduct those interracial conversations to help the Navy out of its dark and difficult days. 43 years. Now today, our nation is once again struggling through difficult days. We've got some difficult days ahead. That's what he said. In 1968, Dr. King declared, "We've got some difficult days ahead." On that fateful night, when it seemed like he knew he would be dead the next day, the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. so many battles had been won, he still said, we've got some difficult days ahead. He was telling us to get ready. From the days of racial relations, Dr. King was speaking into our future, telling us to get ready for even more everyday intergroup contact and interaction. Today, his prophecy is our reality. Today's equal opportunity, civil rights, intergroup difficulties are much more complex. It's not just racial relations. It's not just desegregation. It's not just diversity. It's neodiversity. Today we live in a time of exploding diversity that has created a neodiversity. Neodiversity is today's interpersonal situation in which we all have to encounter and interact with people from many different groups. Race, yes, but the list is long and growing. Look, I just have to inform my students that when I was growing up in the Jim Crow South of legal racial segregation, there was no acceptable way to talk about transgender people. And now, every day, people on our campus openly talk about transgender people in the abstract and transgender acquaintances and friends who go to school, walk to campus, and are in classes at North Carolina State University. Welcome to the future, I tell my students. It ain't coming. It's here. Welcome to the age of beautiful neodiversity, I say to them. And that neodiversity situation, that neodiversity interpersonal situation, is activating some of the same intergroup anxiety, prejudice, and bigotry that was tearing up the Navy 43 years ago. Except now, neodiversity anxiety is engulfing our whole nation. 43 years ago, in the Navy, I began my equal opportunity work in the age of race relations. Today, I am an activist scholar, working to help Americans understand and adapt to our nation's neodiversity. That is the hope I have for my newest book, Taking on Diversity. I'm trying to create a new set of conversations that fit the new intergroup situations of America, that neodiversity in which we all find ourselves learning how to interact with people not like us. With that new, more complex intergroup struggle, once again, America needs equal opportunity workers who live and work in the everyday environments where all that intergroup anxiety and tension is interpersonal. We need plain, old, everyday people who are educated about equal opportunity issues. North Carolina needs, America needs plain, old, everyday people who are educated about equal opportunity issues. Why? Well, it is those people with that education who will bring us out of the darkness of intergroup disrespect that is making too many of us anxious about, afraid of, and sometimes angry with people we work with and who live in and around our neighborhoods. I've always been impressed with NCSU's Equal Opportunity Institute. In fact, for a few years, early in my career here at NCSU, I taught sessions on the social psychology of affirmative action for that institute. I was impressed with and taught for the institute because I saw a connection to the powerful, effective strategy the Navy took. Train everyday people about equal opportunity, access, and diversity issues. Then send those educated everyday people back into their work and living environments to be a trained voice for social justice. Today, lots of Americans are worried and wondering, how will we get through the new 21st century intergroup tense, difficult days? I am not worried. With people like you, who are trained to understand what is going on at the policy level, dawn is coming. With people like you, who are trained to see where the interpersonal work needs to be done in your work environment and neighborhoods, dawn is coming. with and through UEOI graduates. We will do more than just get through these dark and difficult days. We will move our communities towards America's daybreak, where that dawn will let us see that our work to create a more perfect union is having success. Dawn is coming again. 43 years since I got involved in equal opportunity racial relations work, I believe that with and through you and all those who seek this education, we will work through the darkness to reach the dawn of a new day of interpersonal intergroup respect. With your training, you have done more than you realize. You have not just become educated, you have made yourself ready to take on neurodiversity and all the challenges it presents to our everyday interactions at work and to our everyday life situations. You have now become daybreakers. Hear the Hall of Renaissance poet Anna Bonham's poem, The Daybreakers. Hear this. Y'all not come to wage a strife with swords upon this hill. It is not wise to waste a life against a stubborn will. Yet will we die, as some have done, leading a way for the rising sun. Yet would we die as some have done, leading a way for the rising sun. Today, on your graduation, I offer you my sincerest congratulations. In the Navy, when something is well done, we say, bravo salute. Today, on your graduation from NCSU's Equal Opportunity Institute, I offer that salute to you, the new daybreakers. Bravo salute. Congratulations.